Welcome. This is Tailgate Update. If that's what you were expecting, you were in the correct place. This should be episode lucky number 67.
Research team.
Yeah, it's like you take St. Patty's Day and you add a 50 piece to it, as Giannis would want you to do, and you're at 67. So there you go.
Ooh.
Episode 67. So anyway, we've got the full house today. Caleb, Ryan, Julie, and myself. And we're going to try to lead you through the journey, through the desert of not knowing to the promised land of knowing a little bit. So here we go with Ryan, starting with Major League Baseball.
Thanks, Jeff.
Welcome, Ryan.
All right, so let's get started here. The Tokyo series, Cubs and the Dodgers will be playing tomorrow, right, Caleb? The 18th?
Tomorrow at like 5 a.m. my time, I think.
Yeah, because they're playing at 6:10 Eastern time tomorrow morning.
So 5:10 my
5:10,
Central time.
Yeah. One star's not going to be playing, though. Mookie Betts out for this entire series with an illness. He lost 15 pounds since being in Japan. So
Mookie doesn't have 15 pounds to lose. The dude's like above 50 soaking wet.
I know.
That's concerning. I wonder what it is.
Tony Kornheiser said the same thing. He's like, he doesn't have 15 pounds to lose.
We are all currently planning our trip to Tokyo, so we do can lose 15 pounds.
Yeah, so he's don't even know what the illness is. He just says he's out for the Tokyo series. Lost 15 pounds. Who knows what's going on over there? Is it food poisoning? What it is? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, how food?
I don't know.
That would have to be like 2 weeks of poisoning.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, it could be a stomach bug that won't go away. I had one that lasted like a month one time. That was rough.
Oof.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe it's just like a long one. I don't know. That would be my guess, unless he's got something more serious with the gastrointestinals or something, you know. All right.
What was the next thing on the Major League Baseball news?
Royce Lewis is missing the opening day game for the Twins with moderate hamstring strain. No timetable for his return.
They're calling that pretty early.
Yeah.
I mean, what's opening day? Like the 30th?
Opening day is the 27th.
27th.
Yeah,
I want to say.
Early.
Well, if it's
a
strain and they don't know the timetable for his return, I mean, I can understand, being like, all right, you're going to sit out opening day.
Yeah, I mean, that's like almost 3 weeks of ramp up he's going to miss too, so that plays into it. Hamstring pulls are tricky.
Well, strains.
It's the same thing.
Pull, strains, I mean, gotta use the correct terminology, Caleb. Come on.
Layman's terms.
Pretty sure they're pretty similar, yeah.
Yeah. All right, that's it for baseball. Nothing much going on right now.
I complain about the Tokyo series.
Dude.
Go to Tokyo.
Did you say something about Ozempic?
I'm saying you don't have to get it. You can just go there. I'm pretty sure if most Americans went to Tokyo, we would lose weight like that. Not saying that's the instance of the athlete, because their situation sounds different. I'm just talking about the average American. I think it would happen.
Some bad eel or something.
Oh, no.
It had to be something off the wall.
It had to be. I mean, dietary change probably,
because they got the best of the best in terms of the sushi and the tuna and everything. So especially with what Ohtani was posting, looked pretty wild.
And being the fact that he's Ohtani's teammate, I don't think they're going to poison him.
It could be an infectious disease. He could have IBS or IBD.
Lord,
something like that.
Could have been something he obtained here stateside and then show its head until
triggered or God only knows. I mean, that would be on the better side of what it could be. So
you wanted to talk about the Tokyo series, Caleb. What's your complaint? The fact that the Cubs are starting 2 weeks before everybody else and then they have to sit for 8 days?
You have to wake up before work, like as if you get enough sleep anyways, just to watch it.
Well, I'm pretty much leaving at the house at that time anyway, but I just don't. It just interrupts the spring training. I don't like doing the exhibition games beforehand. I don't know. I just think you're leaving way too much up for potential injuries before the season even starts. So then you got to come back, and then they're going to go back to Phoenix continue the rest of their spring training. I think that their opening day is 3 days or 4 days later than everybody else's, but still, just I don't know. The Dodgers got off to a slow start last year after doing this, so I'll be curious to see how both teams do.
Yeah, well, they won the World Series last year, so it doesn't really make much difference.
And essentially with like 5 starting pitchers on the IR, so that wasn't
most of their entire rotation was on the IR at one point.
Yeah, that's
impressive. My God,
their B team is the next best starting rotation in the league.
I don't like it because it feels like pandering to me. I mean, it's Tokyo. They literally have the Giants over there. They have the Japanese league. Why are we trying to grow the game of baseball?
I don't think we have to grow the game of baseball because any Japanese player that is worth his salt,
right?
What is he doing? He's coming right over here.
Yeah.
As soon as like they're contractually will let him. So it's a cool thing. I'm sure I'd probably like it a little bit better if my team wasn't playing, but
I don't think they have. I think hasn't baseball been struggling with less years too, as of late.
It's pretty much stayed steady. I think
stagnated.
I don't think it's exactly grown.
But we've talked about the ESPN dropped their contract for the last 3 years because NFL continues growing. But baseball, they overpaid in hopes of that it would continue growing, but it hasn't been growing.
Well, that's why they're trying to go global like the NFL is what I'm getting at.
They don't promote anybody. The only person that they promote is Ohtani. That's the only player they promote.
Oh, it used to be Trout, and then it was Tatis, and both of them became injury prone.
Yeah. Baseball just needs to be better, and they need a better commissioner, I think.
That's the issue.
He's too busy worried about, like, hey, let's, get the golden at bat, and let's just entirely change the rules of baseball. I'm like, if he can't focus on something for more than 30 seconds at a time, then baseball's just not for you, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Am I the only person in this world that still enjoys long-term content? Like, I hate short-term content, like the little shorts and stuff. Like, it's kind of stressful to me.
If it's done correctly, I don't mind something being shorter than 4 hours. But putting a ghost runner on second base because extra innings is too long for people, that's irritating. That's dumb.
Yeah, and then like when they tried the 7-inning doubleheaders, and
I didn't mind that at all because like it was COVID. The year was short, anyways. Like,
was that the year they did it?
Yeah.
Was that the only year they did it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's understandable. I digress.
I don't. If a game goes into like the 16th inning, yeah, sure, put something on second base. Like, people want to go home. It's 2 in the morning by the time they get home.
Not the 10th.
I can't do that college football thing where you go into overtime like 20 times. Like, no, that's a bit much for me. When you're doing something in the teens, heading towards the 20s is a hard pass for me. That's where I draw the line with that. But we all know I hate college football, but like that was ridiculous. Like that made me want to just drink another beer at that bar, okay? And I did. Because I was like, how does this keep going so goddamn long?
The problem we have is Manfred's really trying to like pander to people who don't watch baseball.
I know.
But that's the younger crowd, and it is. You literally have your customer base dying off.
Well, yes, but at the same time, he's really just flipping the bird to every baseball purist there's ever been, and there's ever going to be.
Again, as I say, the baseball purists are like dying off. They have to get somewhat of a new crop.
Yes, that's a good point because the baby boomers are so,
and they're no longer passing it down too. So
they're kind of like Manfred's kind of like Adam Silver for the NBA, and they're just focused on all the wrong things.
Right. Yes.
I agree. NBA's been flat for about 2 or 3 years on viewers.
I'd say it's just because more than that.
The games are nearly unwatchable. I mean, it's not. There's no substance to it.
But
it's a 3-point contest.
Made a really concerted effort to like appeal to a younger audience through different things too, which I think is like bringing in a younger group, which has worked well for them. Mm-hmm. You kind of got to get with the times if you're going to appeal to. Because I fucking hate baseball, and there's nothing about it that's going to appeal to me. And I mean, I don't know if they could change that, but I know that I'm not alone. So Like,
no, and that's perfectly fine. Like I don't.
But they need a fan base to grow,
you know,
so like they need to find a way to appeal to younger people. No, I'm not talking about me, but like people who might actually like it.
Well, at some point they're gonna have to realize that the baseball players don't need to be getting paid $700 million a year because the sport just isn't worth it at this point, and it's not going to be. Those are terrible contracts.
They had adjustment about 20 or 25 years ago and got more in line with what they were getting paid by the media. But then the last 8 or 10 years, with no salary caps, in baseball, really to speak of, it's just like the big teams to be dominant teams. And that's boring for 85% of the country.
Yep. You need more parity.
Well, yes, you would have more if owners spent more.
Or have other owners spend less.
Well, have a salary floor. You have to spend this amount of money.
You need both.
Yeah.
You need both.
And that's what the luxury tax is for.
That's a good idea, Calvin.
When people don't care about the luxury tax, they're like, oh, I'll just pay it. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. Which is fine. I applaud those owners, honestly. Like Steve Cohen, all those guys, go for it.
It hasn't exactly worked out for him.
Hasn't. At some point, it probably will, but unfortunately for the Mets, they don't develop. Like the Dodgers spend a ridiculous amount of money, and they're one of the best developing teams in the country.
Right.
Or league. So, sorry, I'm on college right now. But
I've been writing more historical content lately, and I just find it to be really funny because when the NFL started, they weren't popular for the first 40, 50 years, really.
College dominated.
Yeah, and then baseball was much bigger. Like, even... Yeah, it was not until the 40s, 50s that they started developing rules that sort of set apart the NFL from college and then also baseball. And now we're sort of seeing the reverse. Where baseball is no longer like America's sport and it's not keeping the interest. It's like the inverse, which is kind of entertaining to me since I'm studying when it was not this way.
Yeah, the NFL was essentially like just everyday people like us, basically.
Yeah, it was not until the end of the 70s, early 80s, again, that it was actually like lucrative where you could afford to not have a full-time job when you're not possibly during the season, but definitely in the off season. It was not until the 80s.
Yeah. TV helped.
Yeah.
A lot of things. Yeah. And like players' rights, the NFLPA kind of kicking in there, like, hey, you have to pay us because owners are real tight-fisted. So there's a lot of things that were going on, like just general, like there's a lot of factors, labor and, rules around work and minimum wage. And, because minimum wage was actually considered illegal or unconstitutional when it was first proposed. So, fun fact. Yeah, but, so, lots of transitions. But anyways, it's a fascinating transition where we have switched. I bet they didn't think that would happen back then.
No. But it took 10 or 20 years, and it's the same thing with baseball. It's like, I thought nobody would be watching baseball in 20 years, around 2000, with all the steroid stuff happening. Yeah, because it was really going downhill. Yeah. As Julie said, it was the first huge NFL contracts in the 90s. The TV contracts just buried baseball. But anyway.
The first... knock it out of the park contract for the NFL actually occurred in, I believe it was 1926 when Red Grange got $100,000 when a contract. That was like the first, oh my God. We have those moments every year, but that was the very first one and was not president. It was not beat for a very long time.
Yeah. But do you remember what they, when Babe Ruth was first paid $100,000, the reporters asked him about it.
Mm-hmm.
You do?
No.
That was, they asked him about Herbert Hoover, and they said, "Oh, you're making more money than Herbert Hoover," and Babe Ruth said, "Well, how many home runs did he hit last year?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I will also say that Red Grange's contract was before the Great Depression, so I think that was probably helpful.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, he beat that by a couple years.
So Ryan, you got some NHL news for us, I believe.
I do. The Vegas Golden Knights are extending Aiden Hill 6 years, $37.5 million, and he's going to account for $6.25 million against the cap, and that deal is going to kick in next year. So they're the brick wall, I guess, from the 2023 Stanley Cup Finals. He's getting paid now. Ovi, 8 goals away from the record now. The great one is starting to crumble now. He scored last night.
Okay.
And Winnipeg defenseman Neil Pionk considered week to week with a lower body injury. And one last thing for hockey. The PWHL has set an attendance record in the U.S. with 14,288 fans in attendance for the Minnesota Frost and the New York Sirens.
I want to add something to NHL.
Oh, God, okay.
Thank you for breaking into that.
Caleb was like, I don't want to say it. Okay, I'm going to say it.
Somebody needs to get Gary Bettman on the horn and have him explain to me why Connor Bedard has gotten consecutive 10-minute misconducts for not like literally no reason.
Oh, don't you know he was
like everybody was getting.
I have not seen any, like, he's literally just sitting there getting talked to by the ref, and then they're like, basically, get out of here. It's ridiculous.
Don't you know he was chirping all game long, and the referee told him to stop twice?
Ooh.
Perhaps if you did your job, you wouldn't get chirped.
I mean, these guys are like looking worse than baseball umpires. I mean, it's just a complete ref show out here.
I honestly think the umpire situation in baseball and the referee situation in football are the reason why people are just not tuning in anymore.
I did make that observation when I was at the game, the NHL game I attended, but it seemed like you basically had to like fart in somebody's direction and you were in there for 2 minutes. Like it was like oh, it was such a bad fight, and you see this man like do a toddler push and they're like gone. Like, the one time when it made sense to me was when the guy hit the other guy over the head with a stick. I'm like, yeah, that would be a problem. Like, it was the one time my adrenaline got going, basically.
That's a 4-minute minor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand why a stick to the head is a problem. But everything else, it was like kindergarten, preschool stuff. Like, okay, read nice in the circle. Like, it's not hard for me to believe that
some games are different than others, and it's kind of bullshit. But
yeah, I mean, it always depends on what crew you're going to get and like the flow of the game and everything. But when you're given a 10-minute misconduct because you're asking for a tripping call because you were tripped,
yeah,
I mean, it's not a big deal. And then you get, I don't even know what the last one was. He was getting essentially jumped by the Canucks, and then he ends up being the one that gets essentially kicked out of the game because there's only like 2.5 minutes left.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I've never seen a league just, is Connor Bedard a star yet? No, but he's supposed to be. I mean, he was a number 1 overall pick 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, he's supposed to be the guy you kind of protect. And the Blackhawks themselves have done a terrible job as in putting a team around him. Horrible job. There's nobody around there that he can look up to or anything. So it's just a frustrating situation for him, I'm sure. But man,
I know the feeling, man. I know the feeling.
But I had to get my 2-piece out there. And like the leagues, all the major leagues, they get to just sit there and the refs don't have to have any level of accountability.
Yeah, they don't have to answer to anything.
No. And it's ridiculous.
And then they can come out weeks later and say, oh, we got it wrong.
Yeah. A little statement.
Spitballing maybe. Penalty boxes for the refs.
That sounds great. And suspensions, fines.
Press conferences.
Penalty boxes would help. Yeah.
I think be punished with.
I think they should have to have press conferences after every game.
I also
like the players do.
Yes.
The players have to not say, well, we should have won this. It was the ref's fault. Or if they do that, it's $100,000. They have to sit there and talk around it.
Have the crew chief right up there with them.
Yeah.
If a player has to answer for something they did in the game, why does an umpire or referee? Yeah. Why do they get to make a call and then duck out and dip out of into their little
I would be
freaking hole and squeak out of there like a cockroach?
Sounds like a good gig if you make it to the top.
Yeah, no accountability. You can do whatever the hell you want, and then, I might get fined if I make an egregious call.
Yeah.
but I'm not getting fired.
You got to mess up a lot to not get a playoff bid too. So
Angel Hernandez.
Anyway, we got anything else on the NHL or moving on to NBA?
We're good with the NHL right now.
Okay, going to the NBA. It's kind of the dog days of the season. A couple teams that got traded good players are doing better, and teams didn't make any moves. They're kind of staying the same. Funny how that works.
Interesting. Yeah.
Would you be amazed if you were a general manager and say, if I can go out and get a good player, maybe we'll be better. The Lakers are a lot better. Dallas is really struggling.
Because Dallas traded for a guy that was already hurt.
They
did not know that he was going to be hurt like literally 10 minutes into the next game.
he literally just came back from injury like 2 weeks before getting traded. He's like the $1 million man. Oh, we have the money to fix him, but will we? No.
Didn't he scream at the Dallas crowd and flex and say, "I'm here"? And then he had to go like 20 minutes later and say, "Okay, I'm gone." I mean, wasn't that pretty much the way it transpired, right?
That was basically the Aaron Rodgers.
Oh yeah.
At
at least they did give him a flag of Texas to carry out onto center court before the jump ball, and then leave like 10 minutes later. I mean, he played for a quarter. I mean, Aaron Rodgers played for like 2 downs, so
4 plays in and
it was gone. Yeah. But anyway, that's about all that I know really is happening with the NBA. I know LeBron's been out for a week. He's still week to week. And Anthony Davis himself, he's been assigned to the farm team for Dallas. So he may be on his recovery journey.
That's a good sign for him.
It is. And that they had a good record, so he might sneak in. They might sneak into the playoff game.
He's being sent down to the G League for 5-on-5 scrimmages and shit like that.
Yeah, and then rehab starts. Probably more too.
They should normalize that more often, like they do in baseball.
Yeah, it makes good sense, especially for these guys with I'm no Julie, okay, but like for soft tissue injuries and things, where you're having to work your way back, and so opposed to like, with the knee or the ankle or something, it's pretty predictable. But with the soft tissue injury, there's always some guesswork, and if you need to sit down after 10 minutes in the G League game, it's a lot less controversial than if you're in the pros where everything is written about. It's like, I'm not ready to go. Let's wait like a week.
Well, most of it's just getting into game shape. Like I went last 2 weekends ago or something like that. Some buddies from work, we had drill weekend, and we always try to do something. So we went and played pickup basketball, full court. Holy smokes, my chest was screaming. You don't realize just how good shape those cats are in, but they are.
Oh yeah, shape. It's amazing.
And to get up and down the court,
yeah.
That's like probably by the third game, I'm basically just sitting at half court, just waiting for the outlet pass. I'm not even getting in the paint anymore. Like I'm not doing anything. I'll be out here, guys. So it's the ramp up for that is probably very difficult.
So basically, your license plate said Snowbird.
Yeah, we're there. Yeah.
Wow.
So calling Caleb Grandpa Caleb now.
Also, LeBron's not hurt.
Who calls people cats?
Yeah, other injury news was Paul George's like several weeks out. It's going to be
just like injections.
Injections, yeah.
Yeah, he's got injections in his knee, I think, right?
Yeah, so they're thinking it could be towards the end of the season.
I thought
there's like 5 or 6 weeks. Did they say he's done?
I thought I saw a report about that.
I've never seen a dude just get so washed so quick. Like in basketball, I don't think I've seen anybody get washed so quick as Paul George.
Yeah, he needed to win.
Yeah, he left Indy and he's just like
not going to. Well, that's what happens where do you go? The Clippers? I mean,
he went to OKC kind of first.
Yeah, now he's with the Nets.
Oh, he's with the Nets now?
No, the Sixers.
Yeah.
Oh, Sixers, okay.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, when Embiid goes down,
losing franchise.
Yeah.
He should have just tagged along with Golden State or something, man. Like, don't overthink it. Just I mean,
do the KD, bro. Do the KD.
Yeah.
But even Golden State is better with Jimmy Butler.
They're the dude that said that he didn't want to play in Golden State signs an extension, and they're like going crazy right now.
Yeah, they're really playing well.
Yeah,
but I don't think there's much going on. It's just like the dog days. In a week or two, it'll be playoff.
Bulls all of a sudden can't stop winning, so that's awesome.
Yeah, you guys don't know what you're doing.
Literally no idea. I mean,
the Knicks are going to be without Jalen Brunson for 1 to 2 weeks with that ankle. He's going to get reevaluated on Thursday.
Are they sitting at like a 2 seed right now?
I could look.
I believe they are 2. Yeah, I think they're right there with the
Cavs are like just
so far ahead.
Not winning either, but
yeah, they're so far ahead. But I think they're right there with the Celtics. That's what I'm thinking.
They're a 3 seed right now.
Boston, I forget about them.
There's no way anybody's catching Cleveland for the 1. Boston's at the 2, and then the Knicks are 7 behind Boston.
Jeez, really?
For the 2, yeah, they're in the 3 right now, just ahead of Milwaukee.
So they won't catch them either. The top 3 are pretty much locked in.
OKC and Cleveland pretty much have the top spots locked up in the East and West.
Makes sense. But anyway, I think not much going on with except injuries. NBA, just the dog days.
Steve Kerr is now the all-time winningest coach in Golden State Warriors history, though. Regular season wins, that is. He just had his 550th win the other night.
Who did he pass? I don't remember Golden State being that awesome.
Al,
like 2000.
Al who?
90s?
Al Atlas.
Oh yeah. That was way back in the day. That's the 70s.
Oh,
that's your heyday right there, Jay.
Heyday, man. I was learning to shave, man. Still learning.
550.
Still learning.
Better than me, Jay.
Yeah, Ryan hasn't learned yet.
I learned and then decided I didn't like it, so I stopped.
Yeah. Jealous, man.
Yeah, I was the same thing with work, but I was told I didn't get to stop. So anyway, but let's see. I think we need to move on to the plow horse, to the Clydesdale of the sports, which is the NFL.
Lord have mercy.
Signings, lots of signings.
So. Minnesota's acquiring Jordan Mason from the Niners.
This is getting rough.
We'll start with the transactions, and there's a couple I've got some pretty strong feelings about.
Okay, Jordan Mason, he's going to join Aaron Jones in the backfield of Minnesota from San Francisco. San Francisco's going to receive a 2026 6th-round pick, and then they're going to swap picks in this year's draft. San Francisco's going to move up to 160, and Minnesota's going to drop down to 187 in this year's draft. Big old transactions on that one. He actually signed a 2-year, fully guaranteed $7 million deal, and he's going to max out at $12 million for the entire value of the contract. Played in 12 games last year, 153 attempts, 789 yards, 3 touchdowns, 5.2 yards per carry. So it should be a good addition for Minnesota, who is likely going to have J.J. McCarthy under center this year, unless
it sounds like it.
Unless that Brett Favre arc really continues with there.
I want it to. I want it to so bad.
As soon as he went to the Jets, I was like, he has to go to Minnesota to retire.
You have to.
That would be just totally amazing, wouldn't it? I mean,
2 generational quarterbacks finishing their careers in Minnesota after destroying them for so long.
But the other thing that's not talked about enough, he pretends he's waiting on Minnesota to make up their mind and everything. I still think it's kind of low-key waiting to see what the Titans do.
Aaron Rodgers?
Yes.
I keep hearing he's holding people hostage or something. Like, that's one of the titles of videos.
So he keeps, the news is like, he keeps holding the Giants and Steelers hostage, and it's like, if I'm either, the Giants aren't going to be helped by Aaron Rodgers at all, so that'd be dumb for him to even go there.
It'd be dumb for them to sign him.
I think he's had enough with New Jersey sports.
The Giants are just a dumpster fire at this point. Okay, so like they really need to put that out and then figure out how to build that team.
Yeah.
But the Steelers, on the other hand, if I'm the Steelers, I'm moving. Like I need to make a move here. Russ is still there. He's even linked to the Giants, which I feel so bad for him. It's like, what are you doing? I would rather retire than play for the Giants.
Well, I don't know why they're so keen on Rodgers, but Wilson is trash. Like I feel like as soon as Rodgers like makes a decision, then the other remaining quarterbacks will like go like dominoes because then everybody else will like What is with you in that home phone today? It's a blast of the past. Are we gonna have some? Can you use the internet and talk on the phone at the same time?
Yeah, but I'm not gonna have any dial-up issues, so we'll be all good.
All right.
Yeah, Rodgers would definitely be the first domino. So
I mean,
why is everybody so far up his ass? Because he's a little injury prone, as we saw, and then he had like his next season back, he sucks. So I'm just failing to see why everybody's so far up his ass, but Russell Wilson is dog trash after having less drama in his bad run with the Broncos.
He's had 2 good seasons since Rodgers has had 1. Wouldn't you say?
Hold on now. I mean, Rodgers threw for almost 30 touchdowns and like single-digit interceptions. I'm pretty
11.
sure. 11. Okay.
He went 28 and 11 last year.
Last year. And what, 3,800 yards or 35?
I don't know. All I know is he threw Devontae to over 1,000. So,
I mean, that's not awesome by Rodgers standards. But that's half the league would take that in a heartbeat.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure why everybody's like so obsessed because he's like 42 and is on ayahuasca.
Yeah.
So and one wrong step and he's gonna hurt himself again. Why are we like so far? What if you get the Jets again?
He's not going back.
Walk with me. That's why Rodgers to Minnesota makes so much sense because he does step off a curb wrong and does something to his leg. JJ's sitting right there in the wing waiting.
Nice.
Did you seriously just say he's gonna step off a curb wrong?
And I totally felt like that not too long ago either.
I literally got a visual in my head like he stepped off the bus and then done.
And I'm not an Aaron Rodgers hater. I'm just not quite sure why everybody's simping so hard for somebody who's in his 40s who has had.
It's 1A and 1B essentially to me. I mean,
because
they're a bridge quarterback no matter which one you sign. Like you're going to need a quarterback the next year or the year after that.
This draft class looks kind of like
obviously, but it's like they're going to give their firstborn son to win Rodgers over another team. It's like, okay, calm down.
So if you're the Giants, you're looking at this draft class and you're going, do we really want Cam Ward at 3?
No.
Are we going to take Shadur Sanders at 3? No.
Hell no.
No. What do we need that's going to make sure the next quarterback we get is going to actually survive and not look like Daniel Jones?
Line or receiver, one of the two.
Right.
Or trade back. I don't know.
Probably line. I'm going line because that offensive line is just
buns.
Oh, gosh. It is bad. Yeah. It is moldy buns. Moldy. Okay.
That's an imagery right there.
But if you're Pittsburgh, another bridge, bring Russ back. He ran the offense well for you. You're missing.
It sounded like he didn't do really well last year, and he did. Like his stats were good. But he's like dog water now to Aaron Rodgers. I mean, like he doesn't. I don't understand that.
He started off hot and then tapered off.
Yeah, but so the entire team wasn't that bad.
You know what the problem is there, though? It's not Russ. It's not George Pickens. It's not Tomlin. It's Arthur.
I'm gonna say Sam.
Arthur Smith. Tomlin by default, I guess, because he's the one that hired Arthur Smith. But Arthur Smith hasn't been good since he had Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill, A.J. Brown at Tennessee. Like, he's horrendous, man. He made the Falcons look like they were playing football in the 40s. He's just not a good coordinator.
Hey, the 40s were quite an era for the game, okay?
So the problem you're having in Pittsburgh now is
The Falcons had Sark and him.
What's the run game going to look like without Najee Harris? You got Warren.
Remember how everybody was hating on Najee Harris too, just like one season ago? Can we just go back to that just a little bit? Because everybody's like, this is his last chance before he gets kicked out of the league. He's got an attitude problem, blah blah blah. And now he's like a hot commodity because Russell Wilson showed talent in people that we didn't even know existed. Like all of a sudden, they actually have a tight end, they have a running back, and we don't talk about that either.
Okay, so like they didn't.
Harris is very average. He's just you can find a Najee Harris anywhere.
Yeah, but I'm just saying everybody said his attitude is bad. He's not gonna be able to make it in this team. Like this is his last season. And now I'm not saying he's amazing, but they took that narrative away really quick.
He didn't have to worry about a stacked box last year. He didn't have to worry about Mason Rudolph throwing passes or Duck Hodges or whoever else they decided to pick up.
I appreciate the personality development arc, is what I'm gonna say.
They have an offensive line issue too. Nobody's talking about it, but they really do.
But now they have DK, and now they have Pickens, which is going to be personal foul and unsportsmanlike conduct over and over again.
That wide receiver coach has just got to be in hell right now.
He's definitely got them signed up for therapy or something.
I can't even. That poor guy.
Well, let's see what else we have going on, Ryan.
Juju Smith-Schuster is going back to KC for a year. San Francisco released and then signed back fullback Kyle Juszczyk, 2 years, $8 million.
Was that like to adjust the salary or just
I believe it's a money move.
Yeah.
Right now, San Francisco is just kind of. I don't know what they're doing. They're just selling everything off.
So essentially what they probably had to do, I'm sure that they ate some dead cap in order to cut him.
They ate dead cap just to get rid of Debo.
Why not? I'm saying, why not just restructure his contract like anybody else does?
We've seen John Lynch do some weird shit, dude.
I was going to say probably with like a low-level player like that, it probably doesn't help that much to restructure. Like if you're going with Kansas City with Mahomes, that's a ton of money. You can do some magic on that sort of money to make it stretch out. But when you're talking about running back's like one of the lower paid positions on the offense now, you know?
He was a fullback,
so 2 year, $8 million, right?
That's 4 year.
For a year?
No, 2 years, $8 million, 4 per year.
Yeah. Okay, so he's probably making like $6 million a year on his last contract.
Likely.
I don't know. It just seemed like an absolutely pointless move.
I do hate when they do that.
Like I said, we've seen John Lynch do some crazy shit that doesn't make any sense.
They did
because Schneider told Lockett that.
What, probably 7 years ago? Just absolutely torched everything.
Wait, what was that?
So didn't he purge the roster like 7 years ago? Well, probably wasn't even that long ago.
When he first got there, he purged the whole roster. I mean, Snead did the same thing when McVay got there, so it makes sense starting over with a coach that you feel like is going to get you to the promised land.
I was fixed to say, was Rand the coordinator then? Was he the GM?
Who's that?
Rand Carthen. You know, was he back? Was he there back that far? Because I know when they left, when Rand Carthen left here in Tennessee, the Titans, they've done a total rebuild on everything. You know, you saw just this past 6 weeks they've let go like 4 or 5 different guys. Yeah, about 3 of the defense and a couple on the offense too. Yeah, but they re-signed a good line. They've got some good people now.
You guys have a really good O-line.
The line has really stepped up.
Finally looks good.
Yeah, I mean, we signed 2 new guys, and even the guy that was the center last year was the center while Cushenberry was hurt, which like 3 of our 5 were hurt. They re-signed the backup, so they got like 6 guys that are established for 5 spots, so they can slide some people around. Yeah, that guy wasn't bad. He just won Lloyd Cushenberry.
Yeah. They need to find a quarterback quick while you got those pieces in place.
Yeah, that's why everybody keeps thinking that they are going to draft a quarterback because they've made like three offensive lineman signings in the last 3 weeks.
I
Oh, so
wouldn't be
they
surprised if they signed or drafted Cam. I wouldn't be surprised.
Setting up for it.
God.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Can't. I don't really
I
see
know.
Cam Ward. I don't see it.
I think he's a pretty good quarterback. I understand why people have reservations about him after the bowl game issue, but
Oh no, mine was way before then. Like as a Miami fan, I was watching him all year, and it was just like, what the hell are you doing? Like his decision making is slow. His pocket presence is just so poor. It's like
shows how bad this quarterback class is.
yes, the fact that he might go the first quarterback in the draft to go, that's just good Lord.
But the other thing is the team that's number one, the Titans are bad because of quarterback play. They literally haven't had a top half of the league quarterback in 5 or 6 years.
Well, we talked about it before, Jay. Levis needs everything to be perfect.
It's never going to be perfect with the Titans.
No.
The offensive line's not going to be perfect. The wide receivers, as soon as they get a good one in, they don't re-sign them if they need a raise.
Ship them out.
Ship them out, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen a team that they draft wide receivers first round because they're a priority, but then they don't re-sign them to a second, a second contract because they're not a priority. Why are you drafting good guys if they're only going to be there to train?
What
it's
is
like apprenticing someone and then let them go out the door.
What is a priority in Tennessee? Certainly isn't quarterback position.
No, I think it's finding the smallest running backs you can find and pairing them together.
Now, before you had Henry, he was a bowling ball, man. But
but we don't have anybody even 5'10".
Yeah, I know.
As a running back.
In my astrology articles where I covered the starting quarterback for all the teams, I discovered that Levis was the only Cancer starting quarterback. And so I think it's in the stars because as a fellow Cancer, I just don't think that we're emotionally set up for the kind of criticism, the kind of emotional stamina, and the kind of because just too sensitive, okay? So I think it's in the stars. There's a reason why hardly any Cancers are starting quarterbacks, and I think that's it. The stars have aligned and said no.
Have you looked up Cam Ward yet?
Why?
No.
Because if they draft him, whether he'll fit in. Because if he's like a Sagittarius or a Virgo, we may have a chance.
Let's see. Oh, he's a Gemini. Oh boy.
Oh, that's bad, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, a pain in the ass.
I guess it kind of depends on what it means.
It means he's hot and cold, right? Like Ryan said.
It depends on what kind of person, because I'm with a very high vibrational Gemini, so the traits are not as problematic, but it can be.
Okay.
Yeah, but so is Josh Allen. So, and you can see that usually works. So I would say it's just generally water signs and being a leader on the team is they don't go together. Scorpios, and Pisces. So I think that this is just look.
Okay.
The more you know.
And that's why Levis likes mayonnaise so much, because we always want to eat too much to eat our feelings, okay? It's in the stars, man.
Okay. I'll move off the Titans because all we're talking about is whether they finish 30th in the league on offense or 25th.
Basically. Well, let's talk about another AFC team. The Bengals are extending both of their wide receivers with their top wide receivers. Jamar Chase is getting what?
Dumb.
Can I finish first, Caleb?
Yeah, sorry.
No.
Yeah, please hold all comments till the end of the ride. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Jamar Chase has signed a 4-year extension, $161 million with $112 million guaranteed. His average annual value of $40.25 million is actually an NFL record for a non-QB. And T. Higgins, 4 years, $115 million, and only guaranteed for the first 2 years of the contract. Hold on, not done yet, Caleb. I know you want to. I know you want to say it. I know you want. I see it on your face. See it on your face. I don't like this at all. putting all that money. So now they have a shit ton of money in Burrow, no running back, shit ton of money in Higgins, shit ton of money in Chase. Hendrickson wants a trade. They've gotten rid of their defensive tackle. Their secondary is buns.
And they had a weak ass defense last year, and the fact that they haven't worked at all in developing that.
I appreciate you bringing that up, Julie. Thank you. I actually have stats on that. So in the last, let's see, Joe Burrow has been healthy since tearing his ACL other than 2023. So in 2021, went to the Super Bowl and lost. Their defense was 17th in scoring, 18th in yards given up, 17th in turnovers, 15th in INTs, and they were tied for 9th in sacks. Also, 24.5% pressure rate that year. 2022, they went to the AFC Championship game, lost. They were 6th in points, scoring defense. They were 16th in yards given up, 8th in turnovers. They had 13 INTs, which was 18th in the league, and 30 sacks, which is 15th. And they actually dropped in pressure rate by 2%. 2023, they missed the playoffs, 21st in scoring defense, 31st in yards given up. They had 26 turnovers, which is good for 12th, 17 INTs, which is 8th, and 44 sacks, which is 11th, and actually dropped 0.3% in pressure rate. And then last year, they missed the playoffs, 25th in points, 25th in yards, 25 turnovers, which was 7th in the league, 15 INTs, 8th in the league, and they had 36 sacks, which is tied for 13th in the league. And
these are some intense stats. Holy crap.
It just goes to show you that they don't like to get a good defense. Joe Burrow is going to have to score 85 points every game just to win.
If he can stay healthy long enough with his wrists and whatever else it is.
This dude might have won. He might have won MVP last year if he actually had a defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, but hear me out. Hendrickson, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Trade him for about 3 to 4 low grade, barely manageable defensive guys. A linebacker, safety, a corner, and maybe a dime guy for the dime package.
I don't believe he's gonna be that worth that much, Jay. I mean, he's gonna get some picks out of it if they do end up trading him, but he's led the league in sacks, I think, 2 of the last 3 years, right?
Yeah, but I mean that guy's got to be worth about 2 or 3 guys, and then, like you said, two or three draft picks.
Yeah, I mean, so you're saying become a blue collar defense, just kind of be middle of the pack, get the job done.
Hell, that would be better than what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have like if you have a team that on offense is supposed to be the most disproportionately paid in NFL history, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Then you should be able to have a top 20 defense and win. You don't have to have a top 10 defense. Have a top 20 defense and a 5 or 10 offense, and you're going to win most games by 5 or 10.
Well, let's not forget, though, their offensive line has been
spirit with that. That was moving, Jay.
Thank you.
Their offensive line's been dog shit, too, every year that Burrow's been in the league, just about.
Yep.
Now, remember, he got sacked, 68 times in 2021?
Okay. That's a lot.
That ties the number with Caleb Williams, I guess. All right, here's what I'm going to say.
It's okay. I am not hurting my cat. I know you can hear him, but I'm not hurting him.
Disproportionately paid, 44% of their cap is tied up in 3 dudes now.
Yeah.
How stupid are you?
That's what's crazy.
How stupid can you possibly
be? How are you going to build an O-line?
Your wide receiver 2 is making what?
115.
Over 4?
Yes, and only 2 years is guaranteed.
That's almost $30 million a year for your second option. How stupid can you possibly be?
I want to know how much it's going to cost if they release him after the second year. It's no longer guaranteed. How much is it going to cost him dead cap?
And the Seahawks have a grandpa and a barely, almost still a rookie. So
we'll get there, Julie. We'll get there.
We're getting to you.
I'm just saying it's just weird how wide receivers turn out, okay? It's just interesting.
We're getting to you. Hold on.
Well, yeah, why don't we do Seattle now? Move on to that.
We'll do Seattle now.
Hold on. You got to trade. Now you have to just trade Trey Hendrickson. You can't pay him. Now you have 4
that's what they're admitting,
for 70% of your cap, because a defensive end is going to account for, maybe $25 million a year, even at the age of, 30 years old?
He's got to be around there, yeah. He's been
I think you're right about him leading 2 of the past 3 years in sacks.
Yes.
If not, he's last year for sure.
He had 17.5 last year, I believe, right?
Yeah. So you got Joe Burrow, Chase, whatever.
Jamar Chase.
Chase Brown.
Chase Brown's the running back. There you go.
Oh my God, what did
you're gonna have to pay him
the
at
Manning
some
brothers
point,
said
maybe.
Jamal instead of Jamal.
Jamal Chase, yeah.
Yes.
Kill him. Chase, whatever his name. Chase, whatever his name. Yeah.
I love Chase Brown.
Chase and Taylor.
Illini.
That's some Incarnate heart right there.
Yeah. Trey Hendrickson. Who's their safety? Bates.
Jesse Bates, yeah.
Is he still there?
I think so, yeah.
He's pretty good.
Decent, yeah.
You already got rid of that defensive tackle. You already got rid of Jermaine Pratt.
Okay, so who's the corner?
Let's see.
Yeah, you can't even name him.
The one that was talking smack to KC. He's decent.
Literally, the only way you know him is because he was talking smack to KC.
He's on a rookie deal, though.
Cool. Doesn't mean he's good.
It means
he's decent.
It means he's a good contract.
Oh yeah. No chance of him balling out anytime soon to get paid, so he should be good.
Well, no, when you have no defensive line to help. I mean,
yeah,
you can cover for 9 seconds and the quarterback's still going to be untouched.
Yeah.
Can you imagine staring down the
wrong.
barrel of this upcoming season and being like, I'm going to get my ass kicked every minute that I'm on this field, every game? Like, how disheartening that would be.
As a defense, that is demoralizing.
I know that that's the defense's job, but like still, like we're talking about even more than normal. Like we just know that you're set up for failure from the start. Joe Burrow, you're going to be eating the grass every minute. The defense is going to be struggling on a skeleton crew. Like,
and you also have to think about it too. Like, as a defense,
I tap out of the season?
As a defensive coordinator, and you see this roster, and you go, "How the hell am I supposed to game plan for teams like Baltimore and
then they'll
Pittsburgh.
Get fired too because they didn't.
Yeah, and then they'll get fired midway through the season because their team's 32nd in points given up.
Yes.
This is a product of players feeling like they just have to be the most paid player at their position at all times.
We can call it the Red Grange syndrome now.
It's ridiculous. I mean,
it is.
So you got to make $41 million a year because Justin Jefferson's making 39. Like,
boy, we have talked for an
to you?
entire hour. We really know how to add those minutes on. Ryan, do you have any last minute thoughts because we're heading towards that mark?
Yeah. Derek Stingley just said, if you would shush, I would. Derek Stingley, he signed a 3-year extension, $90 million, highest paid corner in NFL history, which is $89 million guaranteed. Cooper Kupp, 3 years, 45. Shush!
Jalen Johnson's contract's looking amazing right now.
Cooper Kupp going to Seattle, going back home, 3 years, $45 million. He was released on Wednesday after 8 years in LA, signs on Friday. Buffalo signed defense tackle Larry Ogunjobi, Michael Hoyt, and Joey Bosa. 1-year deal for Ogunjobi and Bosa. Hoyt got 3 years. However, Hoyt and Ogunjobi are suspended for 6 games each for PED use. So for the first 6 games, they're done. Then they can't return to the practice facility after training camp is done and preseason is done until week 4. So
isn't it interesting how you can beat the ever-living crap out of your spouse, out of your female partner, whoever that is, and get a similar amount of games as if you
if even that.
Pets.
If even that. Tyreek Hill never got anything, so.
Isn't that funny? Maybe I should talk about that for the Women's History Month.
I think you should.
I can give you a reason.
Okay. Because they don't care.
No, I can give you like a real legitimate reason, okay?
All right, let's hear it.
You think sexism isn't real enough? Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm telling you the reason.
Okay.
It's because no matter how rich you are, you cannot tell a drug test, here's $10 million, go away.
Well,
that is the reason. It's an objective factor, not a subjective factor. You can't pay off witnesses to a drug test.
That's
However,
the reason.
You can claim technicality.
Can't
You
pay off
can,
the
and
person
sometimes
who's
it works.
watching you do the P-test too?
I think so.
I'm
Yes.
I'm sure that they're that there's been
so like
attempts.
couldn't they?
If they're anything like what I get, yes, somebody is watching you.
Somebody's
That is
watching you.
true.
Rockwell.
Yeah.
And they used to just show up unannounced.
To your house?
Not for me, but for athletes. No.
Yeah, I'm sure for athletes, I'm sure it's very unexpected.
And
so
you were supposed to be in certain spots at certain times. I think it's lightened up a little bit, but
I used to know somebody who was the person who watched people do it.
People get paid for that, yeah.
Oh
yeah, that's his job. I think it was in the Navy. He just watched people pee for like 40 years, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Please.
Okay. We have any other major moves, Ryan? That's it?
No, sir. We're all good on that.
Okay, everybody, like Ryan, Julie said, or final thoughts.
I'm good. We're all good. Caleb, anything?
Watch March Madness, baby.
Yeah. See if the Titans trade the draft pick. I think 1993, the last time this close to the draft, and no first round picks have been exchanged yet.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's insane. That's 40
Crazy.
years. Yeah.
We'll see if it holds up.
Yeah.
Doubtful.
That's all I got.
Well, y'all will see my next article, and I will absolutely include Jay's thought process behind it. As that's that lawyer talking right there. I appreciate that. Yep, and also doing an in-depth take decade by decade about when and why the NFL became lucrative is coming out, since I talk about it so much, and from the 20s to about the 80s. Yeah, so just follow It's Miller Crime and see what comes out.
Sounds great.
All right, well, subscribe, hit that notification bell, ding, and we appreciate our subscribers. Couldn't do it without you. We are very grateful. Almost hard to believe that we even have them, because it's like, how do we have this many people watching us? It feels like an honor, okay? I appreciate that you spend the time to do that. So make sure if you're not subscribed to, and we'll see you next week.